This is Book 3, The Light That Remains. Before stars had names, before time itself even knew how to move forward, the devourer waited. It wasn't evil. It had no concept of malice or cruelty. It was simply function. When civilizations grew too powerful, when the very fabric of reality was stretched too thin, it arrived to reset the board, to wipe the slate clean. One man had stopped it, Orhun, armed with the Starfire. But Orhun was only a man, and the devourer was an eternal force. Now, eons later, it felt 3 familiar lights flickering across the cosmos, 3 echoes of the man who had defied it. And this time it prepared. The children of Orhun did not stay together. After their battle with the Silent Empire, they knew it was safer to separate their immense power. Kale, the quiet one, traveled to the galactic core. There, amidst collapsing stars and gravitational anomalies, he became a silent guardian, a living anchor holding frayed reality together. He stopped black holes from swallowing entire systems and held the line where the universe itself threatened to unravel. His sister, Lyra, chose a different path. She joined the endless frontier wars, ending conflicts with a terrifying and beautiful precision. To some, she was a savior descending from the heavens. To others, she was a weapon more frightening than the enemies they faced. Her fire burned so brightly it cast shadows across entire sectors. And then there was Tarin, the youngest. He went beyond mapped space, into the silent, whispering void. He didn't seek battle or order. He sought knowledge. He listened to the hum of the universe itself, learning secrets no mortal mind was ever meant to contain. He heard the echoes of creation and the whispers of what came before. But as they drifted apart, each carving their own legend into the stars, they didn't realize they were being watched. Quietly, patiently, something began hunting them. Lyra was the first to fall. It didn't happen in a blaze of glory. It wasn't a death. It was worse. During a desperate battle above a dying world, a perfect, silent void opened in space and simply swallowed her ship whole. There was no explosion, no debris, no energy signature. Just a sudden, chilling absence. Across the galaxy, Kale felt it instantly, a scream that tore not through sound waves, but through gravity itself. The force he commanded buckled, as if a fundamental law had been broken. Far beyond known space, Tarin heard it too. Her name, Lyra, echoing from places that should not exist, whispered by voices that were not voices at all. The devourer had made its move. It hadn't killed her. It had taken her. The remaining brothers reunited at the edge of creation, the very place where their father, Orhun, once burned with the Starfire to stop the devourer. It was a place of cosmic scars and fading celestial light. There, with the weight of his terrible knowledge, Tarin finally revealed the truth. The Starfire was never a weapon. It was a lock. Orhun didn't destroy the devourer. He had only delayed it, imprisoning it outside of time. And the children, they were never meant to be warriors to fight it again. They were something else entirely. They were the keys. They were meant to replace it, to become a living, breathing balance between creation and destruction, a force of nature that the universe desperately needed. But that role demanded a sacrifice, a permanent, absolute sacrifice of their very selves. Heavy with this revelation, Kale and Tarin returned home. The years had been kind but relentless. Orhun was an old man now, his legendary strength faded into quiet wisdom. Elira's fiery hair had gone silver. her eyes holding the calm depth of a life lived fully. When Kale told them the truth, that they were destined not to live, but to become a cosmic function, Orhun didn't look surprised. He simply nodded, a sad, knowing smile on his face. "I always hoped you would get to choose differently than I did," he said, his voice raspy with age. "But the universe rarely gives us clean choices. That night, Orhun, the soldier who saved the galaxy, died peacefully in his sleep. As if in mourning, the stars themselves seemed to dim. And across the void, even the awakening devourer paused, feeling the loss of its ancient rival. With their father gone, their purpose became terrifyingly clear. First, they had to save their sister. Taran, using the knowledge he'd gained from the universe's whispers, found her. Lyra was alive, but imprisoned inside a pocket reality, a prison made of stolen time. She was being slowly rewritten, her fire, her very essence, being drained to fuel the Devourer's final awakening. The rescue was not a battle. It was an act of cosmic vandalism. It shattered entire star systems. Kale bent space-time until planets cracked under the strain. He folded gravity like paper to tear open her prison. Taran, meanwhile, sang reality back into shape, his voice a force that repaired the damage Kale wrought, weaving the broken pieces of the universe back together. Lyra emerged, but she was changed. The fire in her eyes was still there, but it was quieter now, shadowed by something ancient and cold. She was afraid. For the first time in her life, truly afraid. They were no longer the powerful children of a hero. They were becoming something else, something terrifying and new. And then it came. The Devourer emerged fully from its prison, and reality began to bleed. Galaxies folded in on themselves. Stars went dark mid-fusion. Entire civilizations vanished from existence without a sound, without even knowing why. The three siblings stood together one last time, their combined light a tiny flicker against an infinite, encroaching darkness. They faced their final choice, the one their father had prepared them for. They could merge into a single cosmic entity, a new devourer, eternal, impossibly powerful, but distant and alone, forever detached from the life they fought to protect. Or they could divide the devourer's function among themselves. They could become the balance. They would die as individuals, their consciousness, their memories, their love for each other dissolving into the universe. But in doing so, they would preserve life itself. They remembered their parents. A small world, a quiet life filled with love. They remembered what they were fighting for. Not power, not glory, but for moments like those, they chose mortality. They chose everyone else. The final act tore the universe open. It was not a battle, but a transformation. Kale reached out and anchored gravity forever. He became the unseen hand that holds galaxies together, the silent force that keeps planets in their orbits. He was the stability in the chaos. Lyra became living energy. Her fire, once a weapon, was now a source of creation. She burst forth, igniting new stars where darkness threatened to spread, becoming the lifeblood of the cosmos, a promise of warmth in the cold void. And Taran dissolved into consciousness itself. He became the cosmic awareness, the gentle whisper that guides reality away from collapse, the intuition that steers travelers away from danger. He became the soul of the universe. They did not die, but they did not live. They became legend. Centuries later, on an unnamed, peaceful planet, children would watch the night sky in wonder. When a star flared unexpectedly, brighter than the rest, their parents would whisper, "That's Lyra, keeping the dark away." When strange stellar storms passed without harm and gravity held firm, they'd say, "That's Kale, holding us steady." And when lost travelers found their way home through impossible journeys, they would give thanks, knowing, "That's Taran, listening." Orhun and Lyra were long gone, their names forgotten by most. But their choice, their love, endured in the very laws of the cosmos. The universe was still vast, and it was still dangerous. But it was no longer cruel by design, because once a soldier chose love over duty, and his children, in turn, chose everyone else. Thank you so much for watching this journey through the light that remains. If you were moved by their story, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into incredible worlds. See you next time.